Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Full of a Took. I'm your host, Chris, along with my wonderful co-hosts, Laura, Patrick, RJ. We're here to talk about Of Herbs and Stewed Rabbit, which is a recipe that we have been working on as a group. But we also want to talk about the Tolkien chapter from the Two Towers in Book 4, Chapter 4, which also coincidentally has the same name as our recipe.
That's crazy.
Weird.
It's nuts. Speaking of nuts, this fucking chapter was kind of nuts.
It's great.
There was like legitimately some wild things that happened and also some snoozy pages.
Oh, yeah.
It was a little bit of a mix.
It felt like two distinctly different chapters.
Yeah.
I've never been happier to have Tolkien describe a garden in 7 paragraphs in my life. I was like, thank God it's not another smelly bog or a putrid vomiting volcano. I was like, thank God we're out of that dump.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sam was like, I'm in a surprisingly good mood. I'm like, so am I. We're getting out of that place.
So last episode, we talked about Chapter 3, The Black Gate is Closed. Frodo, Sam, and Gollum finally arrive at the Black Gate into Mordor and find it fully guarded and impenetrable. Gollum reveals that he knows another way in, although he worries that Frodo will give the ring to Sauron. The hobbits reluctantly agree to go with Gollum, but not before Frodo threatens Gollum about what will happen if he tries anything. For the rest of the day, they learn what they can from Gollum, experience true terror from a flying black rider, and Sam sings a little song about Oliphants. So many tone shifts in that chapter.
Yes.
Also, the flying black rider just made me think of like the black rider still in like the cloak, but like just surfing the clouds. Like, what's up, dude?
Like Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
Well, like you were talking about like singing a song.
Yeah.
And Laura's like, yeah, the Black Rider flying through the clouds and whatever. And I was like, the song that came immediately to mind was the Immigrant Song.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't know why,
So
but
dumb.
my mind always creates the image when you say like a black rider, like riding through the clouds. Just the kid on the dog in the never-ending story. There's this giant worm beast thing in the air, like looks like a dragon.
Falcor?
What was that?
Yeah,
No,
Falcor.
It
no,
has
but
a
I'm
name?
saying like whatever
Yeah, it has a name, Falcor.
it's not determined yet where we are in the story. Whatever the writer's writing. I just imagine that giant dog in all in black, just like drooling.
So
With
the
Like
dog's in
dripping
black?
from the sky.
Would it not be funnier if it was like the regular never-ending story dog, but with the Witch King on his
That's
back?
even better. It's just him and this giant dog that's like slobbering everywhere.
Oh, my God.
I thought they'd at least put a little cloak on him. It's too small. Just looks like a little hat.
Like a black neckerchief?
Yeah. That'd be so cute.
No, so speaking of never-ending stories, we did make it out of those bogs. We made it out of the nightmares. Tolkien is done immersing us in the misery of a landscape. Frodo and Sam and Gollum have decided again not to try the front door. They're going to try Plan B.
They're going to try the back door. No, just kidding.
Plan B, and then backdoor, right back to back. I was just like,
There it is.
I can't.
The impenetrable front black door.
Oh,
The
God.
front door is closed.
Backdoor it is.
It's even funnier now that Galadriel, wait, it's even funnier now that Galadriel is like, the door is shut. I'm like, yeah, it is.
Oh, my God.
Oh, this
That was the equivalent of her tightening her sweatpants.
After she passed her test.
Oh my God, how did we get here?
I don't know.
Why are we like this?
It's because I'm drinking Starry. The porn star soda.
Oh, my God.
Chris is crying already.
Oh my God. Yeah. So anyway, Plan B. They're going to go to the back door. The plan of attack at this point is they're going to go for 4 nights. They're going to head due south down the road. They're going to get to Minas Morgul, the city of the Witch King. Used to be Minas Ithil, the Tower of the Moon. And then they're going to try to sneak around and go up the little staircase over the back and make it through the mountains. And then they have to turn around and go back straight the way they came. Because they're going 4 days south, they're going to cross the mountains and they have to go 4 days north. the Crack of Doom, the volcano, where they have to deposit the ring, was more or less due east of their position.
Was it? They never specified that. I still don't have a clear idea of where Mount Doom is.
Not due east, but easterly. But the point is that every day south is another day if they go north. And as soon as it becomes dark out enough for them to travel, they do. They leave. And they leave the Morannon behind, the plain. They leave the gate behind. They leave those towers, the teeth of Mordor behind. And once that light fades, once they're out from under the gaze of that red eye,
God damn it,
everybody starts to feel a little better. Like inexplicably better. But also remember, like, evil does things to people. It's actually an oppressive force. So this isn't just a metaphorical lightening of their hearts. This is probably a physical effect of them not being under some kind of malign influence. So they're going to head south for 4 days. And Gollum is telling them they're going to find fresh water and maybe fish. And poor Gollum is so hungry. And he's very pathetic about it. But then also at the very end, he's like, I'm very hungry. And Sam is like not at all thrilled about the way Gollum looks at them at that moment. So they finish through the night, they wait through the day, and they just kind of like sit and twiddle their thumbs. And then again, as soon as it's dark out, they head out for the second time. So they're going to be halfway to Minas Morgul by the end of the night, which is a terrifying thing, right?
Says they're what, 30 leagues?
30 leagues.
Yeah, which is
roughly 100 miles.
Yeah.
Whoa. Really?
Yeah.
A league is about 3 miles, 3 and change.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah, so Gollum...
Gollum wanted to do that in
4
journeys.
4 nights.
So roughly 25
4
miles
days.
a night.
Yeah. But over like broken country too. Like this is not, there is a road and it's an old Numenorian road. So it is flat and straight. Think like, the stereotypical Roman roads. That's what Numenorians borrow from. But that's almost 100 miles of travel where they're not on a road, right? They're traveling near the road because this is an old Numenorian road. If you needed a road to march an army to or from Mordor, this is the road you want. So naturally, this is the road that Sauron's allies will be using. So wisely enough, Gollum does not let the hobbits walk on the road. Instead, they kind of like are in the hills off to the side. By the end of the night, they're going to be halfway to Minas Morgul, which again is a haunted fortress on the flanks of the Mountains of Shadow. But even though this is the terror that they're marching into, they're marching away from a lived nightmare. They're marching away from the battle plain. They're marching away from the dead marshes, from the Emyn Muil. They're marching away from a place of death. And as they go into Ithilien, these are called the Gardens of Gondor, they're far enough south that spring has come early by their reckoning. Like they're walking into a land of spring because things have started to grow again and it's nice. But then they walk into what is essentially abandoned, cultivated lands. What I mean by that is like there are orchards, there are herbs like plants and bushes and trees and things. And there's orderly like ruins of like, low walls and fields and all kinds of stuff. This is a land that is empty, but a land that was beautiful and bountiful at one time. And the hobbits are looking around and they're starting to like feel their hearts lighten. And they're just kind of taking in all these like new kinds of trees and new kinds of plants. And they're kind of like having a good time with it. And they go until it starts to get light out. And that means they have to stop and find a place to hide. And then they're going to wait and they're going to finish the journey, so on and so forth. This is the same pattern they've been following since, basically since the book started. And they find this like depression, this like dell, this little like shallow valley bowl thing. And in the middle of it is a little dark lake. But it's more like a reservoir because it has a stone rim and it has like a little stream that feeds it. And then it has an overflow on the other side. And the hobbits are like in a garden and they are just like laughing with delight at like the weight off their hearts. Like they are in a place that they recognize, like they're from the Shire. They're from a cultivated, beautiful place. And now they see something like that for the first time. What? I'm going to say probably since they left the Shire. Yeah. Because
Lorien.
Well, Lorien is a different kind of cultivated though, right? Like it was alien, it was magical, it was wild and elvish.
True.
This is probably the closest thing to the Shire they've seen in a long time. And honestly, that they're seeing anything with anything alive and green and not trying to kill them is probably a massive weight off their chest.
Yep.
They are charmed. This is an amazing place. But also, this is Ithilien. This land is a graveyard. This was conquered by Sauron. And one of the first things we learned from Boromir was that the army of Gondor died here. And not all that long ago.
So this is like the strip between the River Anduin and the mountains?
Yes.
Okay.
That's exactly what this is. This is sort of that borderland.
Okay.
It used to belong to Gondor. And until recently, it was controlled by Gondor. Then, they lost Osgiliath and the war progresses. And Gondor has been shrinking its borders for a long time. And so this is sort of a no man's land where Gondor maintains a little bit of a presence, but it's more or less Sauron's to use. And he hasn't ruined it yet, like he has the lands up north, but this is his territory.
Give him time.
Exactly. Frodo and Sam go down to the water and they drink and they wash and they have themselves a little laugh. And Sam is like looking around and he's just having himself a laugh and a great time. And then he is reminded very much suddenly that this is a place of danger. They are in the shadow of war because what he finds is a little fire ring. Again, not recent, but not that old. And it's full of bones and skulls. And Tolkien calls this a scene of slaughter and feast.
Ugh.
So something ate someone else. I'm going to go ahead and say orcs probably killed and ate someone with a name, someone who probably had a mother who loved them. This is where they are right now. So Sam has himself a little scare. He decides not to mention it to anybody, specifically because he doesn't want Gollum to go like rooting through the bones.
Looking for food.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sam immediately starts thinking of food because remember, at one point, Sam says, we have food for 21 days. That was 6 days ago.
Ooh.
And they are halfway done the first half of their southward detour. And so they really don't know how far it's going to be from the mountains to Mount Doom. So all they know is that they have 2 weeks of food left. So after that revelation, Sam turns to Gollum and says, Gollum, I am begging you, if that's what it takes, to go just hunt us up some food. Find us something we can eat. Maybe even something you can eat, because Gollum doesn't eat the lembas bread. And Gollum's like, all right, fine. Since you ask nicely, fat hobbit, off I go. Like full of sass.
He was.
Gollum goes off into the underbrush, into this forested area, because they're in the woods, right? It's an overgrown garden, but like not in like the sense that it's a big flat space. Like there's trees growing, there's groves, there's forests.
Whole ecosystem.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's wild, but if you look underneath the wild, there's like stone walls and there's like planted rows of trees and orchards and shit. It's probably pretty cool. So Gollum goes off into this wilderness to go find something to kill and feed to a hobbit. And Sam takes a second and Frodo takes a nap. And then Sam looks at Frodo sleeping and realizes that Frodo is peaceful. He just looks so much better than he has. But he looks aged. His face is lined. Sometimes he sees a light in Frodo. And that's probably not a metaphor. It's probably a literal thing, because we see a lot of that in Tolkien's writing. The light tells us things like people's eyes shine. Gollum's eyes go green every time he gets squirrely and weird. Aragorn seems to grow with light and majesty.
Well, Galadriel also gave him a light.
Yes.
Like,
And
wrist
he
around
ate
his
it.
neck. I don't think he ate it.
Yeah.
Well, good, because it was a suppository.
Oh my god.
He's just glowing at all times.
I guess that's one way to glow.
But Sam lacks the words to really express seeing this like inner strength and inner light and the toll that the ring and all this journey has taken on Frodo. And instead, he just says to himself, he says, Sam, damn it, I love him. He loves the guy. Gollum comes back and just kind of like cartoons over his shoulder. And it's kind of like weird. And then goes back down. And then Sam turns around and is like, what'd you get? Gollum got you some rabbits. But since Master is sleeping, perhaps Gollum will just eat all the rabbits, because you don't really want rabbits, do you? Sam basically says, fuck off, give me them rabbits. I'm going to do something nice with this. I'm going to do one nice thing, because more than anything else, Sam is like, fuck, I miss a good home-cooked meal. And now we got some rabbits, and I've seen all these herbs around. I'm going to stew some rabbits. Gollum, go get me some water. Here's some pans. And Gollum is so fucked up at this point that he has forgotten what cooking is because he's like, what does hobbits want with water? Well, you've washed, you drank. What could you possibly need water for in pans after I've given you raw food? What is this? And Sam's like, well, if you're good and don't fuck up my cookware, I'll tell you when you get back. And Gollum's like, all right, whatever. And off he goes to go fetch water. And while he's gone, Sam loses his goddamn mind and builds a fire. But, he builds a fire that's not going to let off a lot of smoke, right? It's extremely dry. It's extremely small. And so Gollum comes back and throws a fucking fit. One, that Sam is going to cook the rabbits. Why would he ruin them like that? Why would you burn them? But also, Gollum is like legitimately traumatized with regard to fire. Like he is afraid of it. He loathes it. He wants to get away from it.
Yeah.
Gollum has earned a lot of what's happened to him, but also you gotta feel for the little weirdo sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Very infrequently.
Very infrequently.
Sam said he's going to boil his skull.
Right.
This chapter.
Yeah.
So,
If he dented his pans.
Yeah.
If Gollum dented Sam's pans, Sam would do the only reasonable thing and cook Gollum alive.
Like you do.
Like you do.
In the dented pan.
In the dented pan. with a head-shaped dent in it now.
Yeah.
So rather than do that, Sam is pleased to be building a fire and pleased to be cooking. And he's really just lamenting the fact that, man, I wish I had some onions and some good herbs and like some carrots and some potatoes. I could kill for some taters. And then we get one of the best lines in Lord of the Rings from Gollum. What's taters?
Precious.
What's taters, precious? And Sam kind of explains like, yeah, they're the gaffer's delight. It's a potato. It's an amazing thing.
Potatoes.
You would love it. I promise we'll do some nice fish and chips. And Gollum is basically like doing like the little child, like, ew, bleh.
Yeah.
Why would you burn good fish? Meh, I don't want taters. Meh. And then
That was my favorite reaction when he's like, stew the rabbits. And he's like so upset about stewing rabbits.
rabbits.
Yeah.
The fucking audio of it, we listened to it twice because it was so good.
Yeah.
Stew the rabbits. Like, it's the ultimate shock.
Right. So
Yeah.
not only has he forgotten cooking, but he's like deeply morally opposed to the idea of heating things, including himself.
Oh, yeah.
So he fucks off to find himself something to eat. And Sam stews some rabbits for he and Frodo. He brings the pans down to sleeping Frodo and kind of like nudges him awake and says, hey, let's have a nice meal for once. And they kind of had this like fun, wholesome, like camp cooking moment where they're like trying to eat hot soup out of a pan. Like it's a very touching moment. And they finish up. It's past dawn at this point. And Sam decides he's going to like go wash up the pans and everything. So he stands up to go wash the pans. And as he does, the sun, which has been up for a while, but is trapped behind the haze and the mountains of the east, rises above finally. So you get kind of this like almost like second dawn, like when you start getting direct light. And he's looking up the hill at the sun coming over the mountains. And he sees a little line of blue smoke coming up from where his fire was.
Whoa.
His supposed to be smokeless fire. The fire he lit in the middle of enemy occupied country where they are, I don't know, within shouting distance of the main north-south highway. Which is why when I say Sam lost his goddamn mind, this is what I'm talking about. Because Sam also realizes he must have lost his goddamn mind.
What an idiot.
Kind of. Like, I know why he did
Even
it.
Frodo wakes up from his nap and he's like, oh, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Have you lost your mind?
Well, but Frodo is gonna die anyway, and Frodo knows this. So it's like
He has
in
fully
Frodo's
accepted
mind,
You've
he-
lost your damn mind.
but okay. So anyway, Sam drops his shit and runs for the fire to like smother it out and cover it in dirt. And as he's doing it, he hears some like bird calls, and then like weird bird calls. Yeah, and then and he's like, and so he.
More like fart calls.
It's just Sam. He's like, oh, sorry. Sorry.
I haven't had rabbit in a while.
I haven't had meat in a long time.
Bad herbs.
So, but he hears these bird songs, and he's like, They're not, though. They're not bird calls. They're a little weird. And he freaks out. And he dives into the underbrush and he goes back to Frodo and he's like, did you hear any weird birds? And Frodo's like, no. Why? Well, I made a lot of smoke by accident. And Frodo cuts him off. He's like, shut up. Did you hear voices? And so they drop into the brush and they throw their packs on because it is time to fucking go. Somebody has seen the fire. Somebody's coming to look for them. And somebody probably wants to hurt them. And they get their little swords out and they burrow into the underbrush and they wait. And what they are immediately presented with is 4 men in like green camouflage come striding into the clearing where they're hiding from 4 different directions. They are surrounded. And they're speaking like the common tongue. They're speaking the tongue of the West. So Frodo and Sam can understand what they're saying. And they're basically saying, they're here somewhere. They're here. We'll find them. They can't have gone anywhere. Frodo and Sam know that they're surrounded. They know there's no way to run. So they take their swords out and it's knife problem time. And they pop up right in front of these guys, back to back. And Frodo and Sam are staring these guys down and the guys are staring them down and nobody really knows what to do. And the guys are like, what the fuck is this?
It's like when a groundhog pops up. You're like,
But it's got a knife.
Bearing a butter knife.
And they're just like, what is this? They're not even talking to the hobbits. They're talking to each other. Like, what is this? Is this orcs? No, this is not an orc. Is it an elf? No, elves would look better than this. I don't know what this is. It's
rude.
Yeah, that's basically. And Frodo and Sam are like, well, fuck you. What do you want? And the man in charge was like, enough of this. We don't have time for this. You're not orcs. You're not elves. I'm Faramir, captain of Gondor. Who are you? Because the only people in this country serve the Black Tower or the White Tower, meaning Barad-dûr or the Tower of Gondor. So you're either on our side or on their side. Which is it? And the hobbits say, well, what about door number 3? We're just travelers. And Faramir's like, Now, speaking of number 3, where's your friend? And they're like, what friend? The skulky looking monster. Oh, him.
He's not our friend.
Yeah, he's not really our friend. We don't really know that guy. He's just like a dude we met on the road and like he's kind of with us. But yeah, he's
JRRR?
right.
That's my new name for Gollum.
Frodo realizes that playing dumb is going to get them exactly nowhere. So he says, well, we are travelers and I'm a hobbit. I'm Frodo, son of Drogo, and blah, blah, to give them the whole life story. And we've traveled to Imladris, and we traveled south, and we had 7 other companions, not the weird one. We had an elf, and we had a dwarf, and we had a wizard, and we had 2 men who were Aragorn of the north and Boromir from Gondor. The leader of these men stops him and says, hold the fuck up. Boromir, son of Denethor, the steward of Gondor, Boromir, who is High Warden of the White Tower, who is Captain General of the armies of Gondor, that Boromir, he went with you? Who the fuck are you? And Frodo takes a breath and he says, do you remember the words from the riddle that Boromir went to have answered at Imladris, at Rivendell? And remember, that's the whole reason Boromir showed up, was he and his brother had a weird dream. And he says, seek for the sword that was broken. In Imladris it dwells. And this guy is like, oh, this is for fucking real? To what is going on? And Frodo says, so Aragorn, that I mentioned was one of my companions, has that sword. He has the sword that was broken. And I and my traveling companion are the halflings from that riddle. And Faramir goes, and Isildur's Bane? Frodo's like, can't help you, don't know. I guess we'll figure that out together. And so Faramir says, all right, cool. As much as I love riddles and as fucking weird as this is, we are very busy. We're about to conduct basically a large ambush. There's going to be a battle. It's better that we found you than not, because this is going to be a killing ground very soon. So I'm going to leave you with 2 babysitters and we're going to go do business. And we'll be back for you. And Frodo's like, well, I wish I could help, but I am very small. Good luck. And so the hobbits get left with babysitters, which is great because, again, they were left without a babysitter. Even Gollum, for what, 20 minutes, and Sam lit a fire.
Yeah.
They're left with these two men whose names are Mablung and Damrod.
Worst names we've had yet.
What the hell?
Right.
My blung! Damn, Rod!
Damn, Rod.
Oh, jeez.
My blung! Damn, Rod!
And so Frodo is looking these two strangely named people over, and he's like, they remind him of Boromir in manner, in dress, and a lot of things. Like, they remind him of Gondorians, and they're dressed in like camouflage, and they have like bows and swords and spears and stuff. Frodo and Sam are watching them, and these two guys start talking to each other, and they switch languages on them. So now the guards are speaking in, Frodo realizes, fucking Elvish. Holy shit, they're Dunedain. These are Rangers of the South. Because remember, Aragorn is a Dunedain of the North. That whole line, like the old Gondorian blood. Like, that's powerful shit. These are people of consequence in one way or another.
I didn't realize there were multiple factions of Dunedain. The way it was set up at many meetings, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the chapter we learn about the Dunedain. The way that was set up was that there was the Dunedain.
Everything that Aragorn does is of the North.
Yeah.
Because fundamentally, the kingdom of the Númenóreans was two pieces. It was Gondor in the south and Arnor in the north. And Arnor was destroyed long ago.
And the old thing that happened.
In the old times, which is why Aragorn and those Dunedain are basically the only thing left.
Okay.
Down here, they're still Gondor, and surprisingly enough, still Rangers.
Are they still technically
Dunedain.
like the same, or is there differences between the south and the north?
There's
you don't have to
differences.
explain the differences, but they're like not.
Aragorn specifically is the
Like, would Aragorn walk up and be like, brothers? Or would they be like, who the fuck are you?
Weirdo.
Yeah.
the latter bit, the second one.
Yeah.
Because what these guys are is fucking surprised that Frodo speaks Elvish at them.
Mm.
So they take a second and they're like, oh, I guess he is cool. Okay. And so, they all start talking. And it turns out that Mablung and Damrod are Rangers of Ithilien. They're Rangers of Gondor. And the steward of Gondor, the leader of Gondor, picked them and people like them to operate as like a guerrilla army on the east bank of the river behind enemy lines and just like ambush people, fuck shit up, scouts, keep fighting the fight, but kind of in an asymmetrical way, like in a not not army on army, but just go be the resistance across the river.
Second dumb question. You said that they were Rangers.
Right.
Capital R?
Mhm.
Like they
Not
have
like the hockey team.
No, like they have like the special powers that we talked about that Aragorn has.
So we don't really, that's not so much, right? Because that's more like a line of the old king.
So that's like a bloodline of the Rangers. This is more like you're hired to be a ranger to like fucking patrol lands.
Well, actually, the people chosen for this task are descendants of the people who lived in Ithilien.
Okay.
So these people have, their families have an affinity somewhere along the line. Their families would have come from this land.
But it seemed to me when I was reading it that the group that find them from the fire found them because of the fire,
Mm-hmm. That's exactly it.
which is Aragorn would not need a fire to find, right? So
What
then they
Aragorn
said
do?
that they're Rangers, they're Dunedain, and I'm thinking, are they equal? I was a little curious about that. And again, you could say we'll get into it, and that's fine. That's my not hypothesis. But what am I throwing out there?
Hypotenuse.
Hypotenuse? What's one of them's a question, one of them's a theory.
Hypothesis.
Hypothesis is a theory.
Hypotenuse is the long side of a triangle.
God damn it, Laura.
Right?
Lauron! You fucking Lauron!
So to kind of answer your question, these guys are special forces almost. Like, think of it that these are warriors in the service of Gondor, but they're more like special forces. Aragorn is just capital S special boy.
Okay.
Like he is the foretold heir of prophecy.
So they're not the same.
They are not the same.
Got it.
These are Rangers.
You and RJ made a very distinct point in the Fellowship of the Ring of drilling it home for Laura and I that like Numenorian blood means something.
Yes.
Yeah.
That like
Mhm.
one might say special powers.
Yep.
They might be even called Power Rangers.
Oh, God.
Okay. No. Let it go. Let it go.
Question, though.
What do you got?
These Ithilien Rangers, they are Numenorian, yes? Of Numenorian blood?
Ithilien.
Yes. Numenorians are the sort of cultural group that all Gondorians and men of the northern kingdoms are associated with. That's what they all descend from.
Mhm.
So the reason that Rangers in the North are special is because that's basically the only ones left are
Right.
the real good ones.
Mhm.
Whereas down here, there's enough of them that you're going to get some regular dudes mixed in. This is a job in the South. In the North, it's like your destiny type shit.
It like reminds me of like Aragorn and like the people of the North are like they're fucking playing in the MLB.
Mm-hmm.
And in the South, it's like the Pee Wee League. You got a couple duds in there.
Well, hold on. To be
A
fair,
couple people whose parents just were like, he's pretty good. You know
Right,
what I mean?
right.
Just donated a lot to like the PTO.
Just put him in the back. You don't have to play him.
PTA.
You can put him
Wait,
on the
what are you
gate.
saying about Matt Blong and Damrod?
What?
I can't even say their names. Like it's like the worst names we've come across. Like, yeah, of course they're on the MLB.
Yeah, it's like you have Aragorn.
uh-huh.
And then that guy's like, hi, I'm Matt Blung.
So to be clear, though, these guys are still all badasses because, again, they operate on the wrong side of the river. They are isolated in a place where the enemy wants to catch you so they can eat you.
So the Pee-wees are located on the other side of the river, is what we're hearing.
Arguably, you could say that the Pee-wees all died in the army that was there that Boromir told us about, remember? Way
Yeah.
back in the
Where
day.
everyone died in the river.
Except for 4 dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boromir, his brother, and 2 guys made it back.
Oh my
and for
God.
all we know is Mablung and Damrod.
That'd be awesome.
It would.
Interesting.
That'd be fucking nuts.
interesting.
But okay, you know what? I'm going with that. I'm cool with that.
That's the
I'm
theory.
cool with that
Cool with
too.
All right.
So Mablung and Damrod kind of explain like this is why we're here. This is what we do. We are rangers. This is its job. This is the mission. Also, we know that a big army of Southerners, of the Haradrim, of servants and allies of Sauron are coming north. And the plan is to ambush this enemy army and keep it from joining the rest of Sauron's forces. They're going to annihilate this force. This army is moving north through Ithilien to go up to the Black Gate. Because remember, Frodo saw those armies. Everybody's gathering.
Hmm.
And the Rangers have decided that these men will not reach that point. They're going to kill everyone in this force.
Fuck yeah.
All of these Southerners, all this Haradrim. These men are never going to make it to Gondor. They're going to die here today. And now Mablung and Damrod have to babysit Frodo and Sam and wait for the trap to be sprung. And they spend a couple of hours just kind of listening. And then suddenly they start hearing noises, yelling, fear, sounds of battle, of violence, of swords on shields, of swords on swords, of people screaming, and of somebody over the din that's building. Because this noise is getting louder and closer and more violent. And you hear, Gondor, Gondor. And Mablung and Damrod are like, fuck yeah. And Sam's like, I want to see a battle. This is crazy as fuck. And he climbs a little tree to get a better look because they're down in this dell at the bottom of kind of a hill. And at the top of that hill is the road. What they see is that a group of these enemy soldiers have broken through the ambush. They're running away. They might get out. They might live to tell the story. And Faramir and a couple of other guys are just chasing them down, filling these dudes with arrows. It's ugly and it's bad.
Mm.
Sam watches this unfold. Sam, who's never seen a battle, who's been in a couple of fights, but never seen a battle, watches that unfold. And then suddenly, through the ferns, immediately in front of them up the hill, this dude just drops through these ferns, dead. This Southerner, this Haradrim warrior, this man from another place who's been sent to fight in Sauron's wars for Sauron, is dead. And Sam looks at him and he's got like crazy red armor on and he's like a gold collar and he's very foreign and very dead. And Sam takes a second. He thinks like, man, what lies or what threats must have brought this person from whatever distant home he had to come fight for the Lord of Darkness.
Yeah.
And Sam is having this kind of like real interesting moment when Damrod just fucking move, run, Mamuk. And like, we're supposed to know what that means. It's a fucking war elephant comes crashing through the trees directly out of him, covered in blood, covered in gold and weapons, with like a tower on its back, and just like trampling dudes, trampling rangers, trampling southerners, just nuts, trumpeting, ears going crazy, running more or less directly at the tree that Sam's in, and then just runs by. And then it's gone. That elephant is probably, and the little dude clinging to his neck, the elephant rider, just hold on for dear goddamn life. Is probably the only one to get out. Because it's not like an elephant like we know. It's enormous. It's huge. It's a Mamuk of Harad.
A Mamuk.
Mamuk. In the most horrible way, Sam gets to see his Oliphant. And he's tuckered out after that one. Because the battle's dying down. Everybody's dead. And he's, gee golly, man, I could use a nap.
What the fuck?
And so he goes to lay down. And the Rangers are like, yeah, bud, get some sleep while you can. Because we're going to leave soon. And Sam's like, yeah, whatever. Don't wake me when you go. Just be quiet. And like, fuck that. Bro, you're coming with us. You ain't going nowhere.
Adventure time.
And that's the end of the chapter.
Oh my God. Where you going?
Nowhere.
Oh, God.
It's a great end to the chapter.
All I'm going to say is Sam needs to stop wishing for things. He's like, I want to see an elf. We see a ton of elves. He's like, I want to see an Oliphant. We see an Oliphant.
Almost
Next
takes
thing,
him out.
next thing he says, like, it better be a butterfly.
He's like, I want to see the Dark Lord.
I want to kill God with my bare hands. I'll do it if he threatens Frodo.
I have a billion things to talk about. Let's jump right into it. I know for a fact this has been discussed in a prior chapter. Could you remind me, because they brought it up about 45 times in the first two paragraphs, what the fuck is the Ithilien?
It's basically just like the outer gate of Mordor, and then it's on like the Mountain of Shadows, I think, right?
Mm-hmm. It is those two mountain ranges that make up like the walls of Mordor, and they come to a peak, or they come to a corner at the Black Gate. The southern range is the Ithilien, the Mountains of Shadow. That's the mountains they're marching in the shadow of.
Okay.
They're trapped between the mountains and the Anduin.
When you say the shadow of, meaning like the sun is on the other side of it?
Yes.
Quite literally, they're trying to stay in the shadows.
They are, yep. The mountains are to their east. That's the outer wall of Mordor. And then to their west is the Anduin. So they're in no man's land right now.
Okay. Another thing that was really interesting was in Ithilien, there was a mention that like the air was like sweet. And I'm assuming it's because there's like flowers growing and shrubberies and, you
Herbs.
know, nice herb things. Herbs, merbs, whatever that word is. They were growing. And I thought it was really interesting that Gollum smelled it and then started like coughing and retching and was like,
bay leaves.
yeah. And I guess it's not just like his taste buds that have become like deformed and fucking changed, but like literally
His whole
just
face.
the
His whole brain.
the whole way he interacts with like oxygen has changed, you know?
Yeah. I mean, he can't really be in the sunlight. You can't breathe in fresh air from like forests and like, gardens. It's a shame.
And it's something that like 99.9% of the living beings that would interact with that oxygen would appreciate, would like. But it did make me think about something in our life. Is there a smell that almost everybody enjoys, but when you smell it, it makes you retch and cough because you hate it?
So I have a confession, Laura. I fucking hate the smell of bananas. And it drives me absolutely goddamn nuts.
Bananas?
Fucking no, Christopher.
I had no idea.
I knew he didn't like to eat bananas.
The
But if
smell of
they're
banana.
okay in a smoothie, he'll eat them in a smoothie.
Like they can be a flavor with something else, but just the smell of bananas
Really?
drives me fucking nuts. I hate it.
I made you banana bread and you didn't eat any of it, and this explains it.
Right.
He eats banana bread when I make it.
Because you put a lot of chocolate in it.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
Because she has sexy time with him.
I mean, that might be why.
Because I have to. I'm legally required. We're
You
married.
have to have sexy time?
Wait, that's the rule?
That's what you implied.
Oh.
The implication.
Oh my God. I think for me, and it's like really high end perfumes or like really strong cologne. Like a lot of people think that sounds great. It immediately seizes me up. My eyes start watering and start coughing. I can't breathe around these people. I hate when
Jersey
someone,
Shore boardwalk walks by.
I don't even know. I've barely been to the Jersey Shore, but it's like when someone, I can smell them before they enter the room. I'm like, oh, I mean, like I gotta get away from this person. That's like my biggest pet peeve is an overpowering perfume.
Oh my God. What about you?
So mine, I can't say that everybody loves this smell, but I can't stand the smell of weed.
Oh, marijuana?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Skunk. It
I-
does.
Yeah,
I
it's
hate-
so nasty. It's just like immediately like, oh.
I know, right?
I know some
To be
people
fair,
love it.
to be fair, go nuts, guys. Everybody should smoke weed if that's what you want to do, but like
Yeah,
it stinks
just
to
don't wanna
high
smell it.
fucking hell.
And I hate when people who smoke a lot walk up and you're talking to them and you're trying to smile and you're just like, this is awful.
Aw, yeah.
You reek.
Yeah.
The other thing that's like a little bit interesting in this chapter is that I was actually sitting and thinking about the time spent. So the three of them, they're only traveling by night. They're kind of sitting around during the day. And they even said in this chapter, they were like, all right, well, like we'll just sit here for a couple hours and do nothing until like it's nighttime. And I just was thinking about it. And I was thinking about like the fact that they're outside is so much more exhausting. Like the sun is wearing on them, the heat is wearing on them, the exhaustion of what they're doing, the lack of, water bottles in the backpack that they like might have or food or whatever. And it just really made me think like, it must be truly exhausting for Sam and Frodo to be making this journey and be making these great strides during the night. And the moment the sun comes up, just be like, all right, I guess we're done. Like hide in a crevasse of a rock.
Yeah. They're
You know?
always, they're always looking for like a shady spot to hide in.
Yeah.
Because when they get sleep, it's exhausted. They're not sleeping happily. They are passing the fuck out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is a moment where I want to shine a quick light on this. Sam is the only thing keeping Frodo alive at this point. Because if Gollum had found Frodo sleeping at any point past the river Anduin, he would have strangled him immediately, taken the ring, and done who knows what.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true.
Even though Frodo thinks it's a suicide mission and Sam is hoping it's not a suicide mission.
Well, Frodo's treating it. I think Sam's the only one not treating it like a suicide mission.
Yeah.
Frodo's like, it's okay if I don't eat. I'm gonna die anyway. It's okay if I don't do. And Sam's like, no. We're gonna eat. We're gonna sleep. We're gonna do the things we're supposed to do. Like fucking.
Yeah,
You're like giving up before we've even gotten there. Okay.
I know.
And he's like also being very protective, aka saving him several times. And also, when it does become sun time and like the sun's out and they're supposed to be
Yellowface.
sleeping, like yellow face time. Oh, I hate that. We're gonna get into that. Sam also several chapters in a row is like, well, now I'm gonna stay awake because you're gonna rest.
Yeah.
right.
So like that's when he's also supposed to rest. So that's like starting your watch at like 1 a.m. to watch the group. Like,
Yeah.
okay, well that's the time to sleep.
I guess that explains why this is all from Sam's POV, because Frodo's sleeping the whole time.
Yeah.
Well, remember when Sam's job was to stay awake and he fucking didn't? And
That's
Frodo
true.
was like, don't worry. If we had died in our sleep, at least we would have died in our sleep.
Right.
Right, which is such a funny contrast to being back in Lothlorien, where Sam says the exact same thing but the opposite.
Oh, up on the sleeping platforms?
It doesn't matter because I would have died in my sleep.
Right. If he'd rolled off
Oh,
the platform
yeah.
and just fell.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Which is a nice little contrast. Sam has flipped.
Yeah.
He used to be apathetic of like, well, if I fucking die, I die, dude.
Mhm.
And then one by one, everything was taken away from them, and it's
Yeah.
just the two of them. And now Frodo's going, I mean, if I die, I die, dude. And Sam's like,
Yeah.
that not happening on my watch.
Yeah.
Before there were more people to take care of Frodo and look after
Yeah.
him. Now
Yeah.
it's all on Sam.
Now Sam is the whole village.
And speaking of Sam being the whole village, we also learn in this chapter that Gollum doesn't remember how to be a normal being anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's forgotten about how to eat warm food or how to even cook.
Yeah.
And then I love that fun point that is made how we learn about hobbits, like our first hobbit lore in forever, that all hobbits, of course, can cook, for they begin to learn the art before their letters, which many never reach. Like they are taught to cook before they're taught to write. I absolutely love that little tidbit.
And most of them aren't even taught to write.
Exactly.
And apparently many of them can't cook well.
But Sam is exceptional at cooking.
Exactly.
Even for a hobbit. And then thank God he's there. Because otherwise, what would Frodo be eating? Lembas and then eventually raw rabbits?
Just grass.
No, he's
just like
Frodo would have
full
been,
of plants off the side of the road.
Frodo would have been
Salad.
saved hunger because Gollum would have strangled him and stuffed him under a log on the bank of the Anduin.
Yeah. Well, it's just funny also because Sam he didn't learn all of his letters because he calls it water.
Oh, God.
He's missing a T.
No, but actually, on that point, though, I feel like the ring,
Give me some water.
I feel like Gollum is like that clingy girlfriend that the ring hates.
Oh my
And
God.
you have to remember, the ring is sentient and the ring protects the bearer that it chooses. It's right now with Frodo, wants to stay with Frodo. If the option is Gollum Smeagol, that ring is like, today, motherfucker, he's going to wake Frodo up and Sting is going to come out. The ring is just going to possess Frodo and like slice him up.
Frodo's just going to wake up covered in blood.
No memory.
Gollum's head on a stick.
I was going to say his head's just in a charred fire of
Oh my
bones.
God, there's stinker everywhere.
There's a ring on his finger and a sword in his hand, and he doesn't remember anything.
Oh my
No, but if you think
God.
of the rings
There's
POV.
stinker on my finger.
Oh God.
Oh,
No, but if you think of the rings POV, Gollum is the most clingy ex-girlfriend you could ever imagine.
Yep.
Gollum's some serious like he's insanely he Gollum swings between this like insanely funny kind of dark comedy and then just like this weird creepy murder machine.
Yeah.
There was a really funny line that Sam had where when him and Frodo stand up with the swords and the men are like, hey, who the fuck are you guys? And they're like, oh, we're hobbits. We're hanging out. Who the fuck are you? And they're trying to figure out like who the hobbits are. And they are like, maybe they're elves? And then they look at them and they go, no, I heard the elves are really good looking. And Sam's like, the fuck, man?
we can hear you.
It specifically says, elves are a wondrous fair to look upon, and these aren't. And Sam goes, what the fuck?
He gets very sassy in that moment, and I love that for him.
It's so good. It's such a great moment of like jest in this like very tense moment of like these men.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, like the men are gonna like hurt the hobbits, or the hobbits are gonna accidentally like attack the men and not realize what they're getting themselves into, and it's perfect.
Whenever there's hobbits around, there's comic relief.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sam's about to die. He wants to go out on a zinger.
But
Yeah.
they probably do, even though they took a bath recently, like, they probably do look so rough for wear because they've just been traveling in the worst area in the world.
Little scruffy beards that they can't grow out.
Yeah.
fully.
And they
God.
can really tell that, especially when Frodo's sleeping.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So should we talk about that?
So we should take a second to talk about that because one of the sort of points of discussion about Tolkien literature is what is the relationship between Frodo and Sam?
Yeah.
Like, what is this? Is it platonic love? Is it just like friendship? Is it romantic? Like, there's lots and lots of ink has been spilled about this question. Tons of people have had opinions. If you want to see some truly unhinged discussions, Google that shit and read any Reddit. It's a legitimate discussion, right? Because Sam says he loves Frodo.
Twice.
Twice.
I love him.
But like, what does that mean? And I mean, what do you guys think it means? Where do you guys come in on that?
Well, I think the first time I had an inkling that he had a very deep emotional bond with Frodo was actually back in Rivendell. When Frodo wakes up from being healed and injured and Gandalf's returned and Bilbo's just randomly there. And Sam runs up and grabs his hand and has that weird moment
He blushes.
and blushes. It's only weird because it's like, why is he blushing? Like just holding his hand. Like I feel like I think the blush is such an intentional point to show his emotional inner life. Because I mean, and anyone else that ran up and held his hand, Pippin, Mary, Gandalf, I don't think they would have blushed, obviously. So why is Sam blushing? And I feel like this then is the next thing that really stands out to me of being like not typical, friendship male behavior. But I can't tell you like how I really feel, because I feel like he's so innocent that maybe he doesn't even fully understand yet how he feels, but he definitely loves him.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of context, right? So part of it is going to be that when you want to have a discussion about something like this, you have to take the writer's intent and perspective into account. And these books were written almost 100 years ago in England, and like social mores and social norms around expressions and romantic or otherwise were very different. So you can't just one for one this thing.
Right.
So you have to think a little deeper and you have to ask yourself questions. And like, I'm not saying that leads to one place or another, but when you're talking about like, what does Sam saying, I love this guy mean? If you're serious about answering that question, you have to be serious about really analyzing it in the context in which it was written.
I very much felt like it was a brotherly love when he said that. And RJ had some really good points, so I might have to like revisit this in my brain. But I kind of was thinking about how it might reflect J.R.R. Tolkien's time on the battlefield, and how he felt about his fellow soldiers, and even familial, brotherly. Like, you can love someone, you can say I love you without it being a romantic love.
Yeah, for sure.
That was how I read it.
I think that Sam is in love with Frodo.
Like romantically?
Yes.
Okay.
I also think that Sam knows that Frodo is not in love with him. Okay, so let's reevaluate this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you take Sam's name out of it and you put in, I don't know, Brittany,
mm-hmm.
or Amanda, or some other female that
mm-hmm.
Frodo might be interacting with who is not a homosexual, right? Then it's very clear the intent of what's going on in the relationship. Because no fucking female on earth would have this whole monologue in their head about how much they love this person, how handsome their face is while they're sleeping. The first thing you would think of is obviously this person has very seriously attractive feelings to this person.
So for those in our audience who have not read the passage in question, I'm going to read it for you so you know what I wouldn't say arguing about. Are we arguing?
No, we're not. We're
No,
just
no argument.
What
We're
we're
debating or
Well,
discussing.
I am making an argument.
Sure.
I'm not arguing.
All right.
I'm making an argument.
So that they can understand what we're saying, it goes, Frodo's face was peaceful. The marks of fear and care had left it, but it looked old and beautiful, as if the chiseling of the shaping years was now revealed in many fine lines that had before been hidden, though the identity of the face was not changed. Not that Sam Gamgee put it that way to himself. He shook his head as if finding words useless and murmured, I love him. He's like that, and sometimes it shines through somehow. But I love him, whether or no.
Yeah. So now we have a comment on both the physicality of the physical attraction of somebody and the emotional connection of a non-physical relationship.
I feel like he's noticing changes in his face. I don't think it's not made explicit that he's finding it attractive.
He says beautiful.
He does
I think
say
that's
beautiful.
extremely explicit.
I can find somebody beautiful.
I mean,
without
I
being
could find a
attracted to them.
landscape beautiful.
Yeah.
Right, but a landscape is not a person.
You can recognize that another human being is beautiful.
I would
Without-
never say beautiful though. Handsome.
Well, that's you.
No, but it could be a woman. It could be
Sure,
a woman.
Woman. Yes.
Could be very beautiful.
But you're
but
not in love with them.
You're not in love with them.
Well, we're not talking about love right now.
So hold on.
We're not talking about love right now. We're talking about
me,
attractiveness.
Let me roll through. Let me roll through. Because you can find someone beautiful with or without being in love with them.
Absolutely.
With or without it being romantic.
I think that you can say those things to people to be nice. I don't think that you actually are sitting and telling yourself that in your mind.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, so-and-so looks beautiful. It's literally an attractive force pulling your attention.
I would say though
I could be completely wrong though.
well, that's the thing. It was like that's
But
why
if I'm going to make a legitimate, if I'm going to make a legitimate
that's
argument,
why we're
that's my
still-
argument for it.
Right. But like that's why this is still a discussion, right?
Yeah.
That's why we should take a second
Because there's no fucking
acknowledge
answer to it.
Kind of, yeah. Because the other thing is like there's a lot of ways to explain like why Sam would have to keep that bottled up. It has not been very long since Sam wasn't even counted as one of Frodo's friends.
Yeah.
Sam is constantly justifying his role in this whole grand adventure. Like it would be fucked up to say, "Man, I love you." And to have your manager look at you like, "Bud, you work here to close on Fridays. I'm not here for this."
Yeah.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like it
I think it's even weirder than if he's just kind of for their shits and gigs because he loves the job, compliment the beautifulness of his face.
yeah.
That's when I think the argument falls flat.
See, for me, it's like I would have agreed with Laura. Like it's like a almost brotherly love of like we're going through shit together. We're trauma bonded. I love you. You're my family. You're my person. But that scene in Rivendell, I think
With the blushing.
with the blushing and the hand holding and the way he reacted.
Yep.
But like I said earlier, I don't think he even understands how he feels because
Right.
it probably was never talked to. You know, the gaffer was calling him an idiot and all that stuff. And it seemed like a very stereotypically like kind of rough dad. And maybe he doesn't understand even his own feelings, but deep down in, he at least knows it's love.
Mhm.
And as innocent as that might be,
1,000%.
you know what I'm saying? And maybe,
1,000%
and honestly,
agree.
for me as
I
a
agree.
reader, hearing his internal thoughts, that's all I need to know. And it just makes me love him as a character even more. And also the willingness to sacrifice for Frodo even more. Like,
That to me is the biggest green flag of all
Yeah.
of it, which is if you and I were to go out in battle to survive the night,
Mhm.
I wouldn't be lurching over rocks protective of you.
Really?
I'd be like, no, Pat can hold his own.
Oh, thank you.
If you and I went out, I would know internally that RJ could hold her own, but I would never allow any harm to come to her.
oh,
And there's a big difference between that. I would let harm come to you. Knowing you could handle it.
Uh-huh.
Make sense?
oh my
I was
God.
trying to say something good. It came out bad.
Chris, did that sound better in your head?
It sounded better in my head.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, I think you do with the people that you like. I don't even
funny.
want to say the people you love because I love Pat. I love Pat.
Love you, buddy.
But like, I don't feel that like this
You're
is
not gonna
not
watch
this is
him in
going
his
the
sleep?
wrong way.
Is this how Chris is
I
telling me
don't know
that
how
I'm
to
not,
say what I'm
not
trying
beautiful?
to say without it sounding bad. How do I say what I'm trying to say?
I don't know.
Use your words.
There's a difference between who I love and who I'm in love with.
There you go. Like
And
that's
the
very
person
real.
I'm in love with, I would die for both of you, but I would die protecting her more faster. Because in my head, I would just think it's not my job to protect you.
Yeah, Pat probably had this one coming.
No.
Probably.
Like that's got to be at least a half
Well,
a
I would
second.
actually probably think like, Pat probably already knows more than I do about the situation.
This is how he wants to go.
And he's already
chose this.
counting on me dying first.
No, but no. So real quick though, like because you're making a good argument for this.
If
And
you had to choose between me and Laura and we were both dying, who would you choose?
Obviously, your wife. Yeah.
Obviously, Laura. I would expect you to. And if you chose me over her, I would fucking kill you.
sorry, I was doing the bit, but yeah, no, of course, duh.
Obviously.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's how I feel about it. It's like, if Sam is that way with Frodo, of like, I will die for you. You may not appreciate me, but this is how I feel about it. I think that I'm recognizing that, like, you brought up Sam is the only reason he's really alive. And it makes me think about that as like like I said, the green flag. He just keeps being almost like, not sacrificial, but like he will put himself between harm and Frodo every time.
He's taking his job very seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to be really clear though about this whole debate, right? Because it's a debate. There's enough there that
There's enough
it's
evidence to support
interesting.
multiple arguments.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not that one is right or wrong, and it's not that one is good or bad. Like that, it's just a discussion that's generally had at one point or another when you discuss Lord of the Rings and you discuss Frodo and Sam.
Right.
The point is not to raise one idea above the other. What we're really trying to insert into our drunk fun podcast is, guys, what is the meaning of love?
Yeah.
So one last thing about Sam after that lengthy discussion is he had this really insightful thought about battle. It's his first time seeing men fighting men. And I just wanted to read what he says. He says, he wondered what the man's name was because now there is a dead man in front of him from the south and where he came from. And if he was really evil of heart, or what lies or threats had led him on the long march from his home, and if he would not really rather have stayed there in peace. All in a flash of thought, which was quickly driven from his mind. And I just thought that was such a great insight to probably how Tolkien must have felt when he was in the war and what he went through. And just such a soldier's perspective that I never personally experienced in my life. And it's always great when those come up here because it really humanizes a very fantastical situation.
And war in general.
Yeah.
We're just people fighting each other for some grand cause. He never did anything to me.
Right.
And so it's important to talk about this other thing that comes up in a lot of Tolkien literature and discussion, right? Because this is a fantasy setting. This is a world where good and evil are like forces. So men fighting men, humans fighting humans, there is nuance there. Orcs don't have that nuance, right? Let's get that out of the way. Orcs are a prop that are built to be evil. They're there to demonstrate the violence and threat of what can happen to the whole world if the shadow wins. Orcs are going to roll up and they're going to kill everyone for a giggle and then they're going to eat their corpses. That is a fact. That will happen. Now, the men from the south and the men from the east, all these other people that Sauron has subjugated and is now using as foot soldiers in his wars against Gondor, there's nuance there, there's character. These are people, they're human beings. They're not caricatures of evil. A lot of what people will point to in Tolkien's writing is that he others people of color and others what we would consider a non-Western style of person, right? Because it's the Rohirrim are all tall, blonde hair, blue-eyed folk. They're good. All the Gondorians are all fair-skinned guys and they're tall and they're good. And then you have swarthy, meaning darker-skinned people from the east and the south. They're very bad.
They join with Sauron.
Right. So part of what RJ mentioned is that it's really important that for us to realize as readers and consumers of this media that Tolkien understands there's nuance to conflict. He's not saying people from far away are bad. This is part of a literary trope and historical trope where, you know how it is in 300 where the king of the Persians brings 100 nations of people to come fight the Greeks. And the idea is that, oh my God, this guy rules the whole world. He's got 100 different kingdoms underneath of him. He's bringing people from the other end of the world. So Sauron's bringing people from very far away to this point. So it's the idea that Sauron's sway is enormous. He's got a huge influence in the world, and he's bringing people from a very long distance out, a very different people.
It's so far that they're not even on the map.
Right.
Which I think speaks by itself because the map is civilization. It's where, the people that this is what they know. And if it's off the map, well,
right.
It's foreign.
Right. So it's at surface level, it could be perceived as some weird old timey racism. But Sam's quote is important. Tolkien's interaction with mercy is important. Theoden and Treebeard show mercy to Wormtongue, even though he's the enemy. Gandalf advocates for mercy towards Gollum. Frodo realizes mercy for Gollum, even though Gollum's a fucking monster. And if I think anybody that we've been introduced to deserves fire, it's probably Gollum. So there is nuance in conflict, and Tolkien is weaving that into his writing. And that if you think about things and you look into things, your perspectives will change. And I think you'll find it's a very rich piece of literature.
I mean, I would have a devil's advocate there on Wormtongue and Gollum in that they, at least at one point, were both
Western
of the Western race. And maybe that's why they're shown mercy.
Because human nature, and I'm not agreeing with this, is always to be afraid of and say it's bad, what you don't know.
Yeah.
I think everything on the other side of the map that's not even on the map is unknown.
Yeah.
And so they fear it. And a whole big theme of this is, fear is evil. Yeah. And there's no one that's exempt from fear. There's no one that's truly wholly perfectly good or wholly perfectly evil. Everyone has a duality. That's why it's good writing. That's why they're good characters.
Yeah.
And even the quote unquote good guys sometimes make some poor decisions. And I think that is one. Yeah. That they're judging these people they don't know because they're different and they don't understand anything about them. And that's a very old school thing in history and in literature.
I think that's a really good point. It does initially come off as like, oh, this is super racist.
It's the battle of light skin versus dark skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're right that Sam's little insights do give it a deeper level, a deeper analysis.
And speaking of deeper analysis and things that I noticed on this read through, during the battle, I thought it was really intentional that Tolkien had the Gondorians in green and then he had the men from the south in red. So if you look at a color wheel, red and green are on opposites of the spectrum. So it's like protagonist, antagonist, whichever side you're on, they're completely oppositely matched and everything about them are completely different. I thought that was just such a beautiful thing that he thought of. And it just shows his genius of like how to really spell out to the reader, they are antagonists in the most simplest form of like, they could have been in purple, they could have been in blue. No, he purposely chose red and green.
It's fucking
I thought
rad.
that was really cool.
I just like the green it was basically like camo.
Yeah, because they're in the gardens. And like then it made me think like, what is this unmapped place in the South? Maybe theirs is red. Like maybe there's sand dunes. And like I got really excited and imagining where these men came from, kind of like Sam. Oh my God.
But the red thing is real. The red thing is real because they mentioned like the elephants draped in scarlet. The guys wearing red armor. Guys, do you know we have a Mamuk on set?
Yes, we do.
Do we? Oh, shit.
For our listeners, the picture is right behind my head. Just pop on YouTube. You'll see it right in the back.
Yeah. This is why I fucking love doing this project with you guys.
You know what else Tolkien brought up? That was really interesting?
Huh.
That in the end of the chapter, everybody got a treat.
Well, Sam got a treat. You got to see his Oliphant.
That's true.
So our chapter was titled Of Herbs and Stewed Rabbit.
Okay.
Here we have a stew.
Is there rabbit in it?
I will be honest. I could not find rabbit meat.
Rabbit meat's hard to find. I know a guy if you ever need it though.
So I read that rabbit tastes like chicken.
Yes, it does.
So here we have a chicken stew.
Nice.
Okay.
I call this the stew that Sam...
Technically, a chicken stew tastes like rabbit.
Perfect.
There we
So
go.
it is
Then
rabbit
I
stew.
have made something very accurate. I call this the stew that Sam wished he had made.
Oh.
Only because there's some root vegetables in it.
I see
Duh.
potatoes.
We got taters.
Yep.
This looks freaking
We got
awesome.
some onions,
Laura.
taters, and carrots.
What do we got? What do we
It's nice
got?
and warm too.
So we
Please
got
don't burn
carrots, potatoes, chicken, some broth. I see a little bit of
herbs.
Yeah, herbs. What herbs are
I
in
did
it?
use specifically the herbs that Sam used in his stew.
Really?
Oh, that's really good.
So it's thyme, sage, and bay leaves.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like a little bit accurate.
That has such good flavor.
This is
Yeah.
amazing.
I'm very glad you like it.
That's delicious.
And we're just going to pretend that the chicken is rabbit.
I'm
It
actually
is.
glad it is chicken. I'm not going to lie.
I kind of thought so.
We have so many baby bunnies in our backyard and I just couldn't do it and then look them in the eyes tomorrow.
I do really
While I'm
like
having my
little baby
tea and they're
bunnies.
eating our grass in the morning.
They're
For
so
those of
freaking
you who
cute.
don't know, every morning RJ makes hot tea and then sits in the grass in the backyard and has a staring contest with a rabbit.
That is not true.
Every
See
day.
them through the window.
We do have I call her Baby Bunny. We have a bunny that lives on our property that I'm obsessed with. Did you guys ever see The Sopranos?
Yeah.
You know how Tony Soprano is like obsessed with the ducks in his pool?
Yeah.
That's me with this fucking bunny, dude.
Aw.
Dude, so we had baby bunnies in our garden like 6 times last year.
It
And
was
it got
too
to the
much.
point where it was like we couldn't water the plants without the plants screaming.
That was bad.
Because the bunnies are scared, right?
I
And
did
they
not enjoy that.
They just scream.
They burrowed. The nest was right under my pepper plants. And so I didn't know they were there until one day I went to water the peppers and the peppers started screaming.
Oh no.
And I was like, what the fuck? And it turns out I was like flooding out a little rabbit's nest.
Oh no.
They
my
were
God.
fine. They were fine.
They were fine. But the screaming was
Mhm.
not. It was horrifying.
So I think another fun visual with rabbits is imagine what Gollum would have done if he'd found like a nest of rabbits.
No, thank
like
you.
Just like cramming in his mouth like a chipmunk.
He would have acted like a vacuum and just put his mouth over the hole, and then went and sucked him up. This is fantastic. What a fun episode! What a fun chapter! What a delicious end to this chapter.
Yeah, Laura, this was so good.
Thank you. Just in case you're hungry.
The only way this could have been any better would have been if I was asleep the last 2.5 hours.
What the fuck?
Because then I would have woken up to this, much like Frodo did.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
But instead, I was here with you guys.
Terrible.
Anyway, that's. I am glad I was awake.
That's not what you just said.
Obviously. But if I were to relate to Frodo,
I bought you a pickle.
it was a very good pickle. I
made
did.
you a stew.
He did. Don't you do that to me, Persia.
Persia squeaked at you lovingly.
Oh, the cat's talking shit on Chris.
Your cat's fucking making threats.
I was trying to get the meow.
Fucking.
She does not perform for the camera.
I have to tell you, I actually am glad I didn't sleep through the first 2.5 hours of this interaction together.
Thanks.
I had a much better time being awake than asleep.
You seem so convinced.
But if I were going to relate to Frodo, I would have probably wanted to have been asleep so I could wake up to this delicious stew.
Okay.
Just to relate to the character. I like to, what's it called? Character acting?
I accept your apology.
I like to
Method
do
acting.
that. Method acting. So I'm a method podcaster, so that what we're talking about, I need to relate to in real life. Speaking of relating to in real life, let's talk about what the fuck we're going to read next week.
Hey.
Ooh.
This was chapter 4
Yep.
of book 4
Mm-hmm.
of book 2 of The Lord of the Rings. So next week is chapter 5 of book 4 of The Two Towers, which is called
The Window on the West.
The Window on the
Ooh.
West. Oh my gosh. I don't even know what the fuck that means, dude.
We're going to find out together.
It's
That's the
going to
best
be
part.
great.
Because as much fun as this chapter was, the book gets better. The story gets better.
No way.
No, for real. I hate you, but for real, you are going to love this. I can't believe you made it this far. Every step, every hour invested is going to be rewarded.
Actually, I am
promise.
so proud of both Laura and Chris. You have made it so far in the Tolkien verse.
We've passed the 50% of The Lord of the
Yes.
Rings.
Holy shit.
Crazy.
You almost done book 4.
We have 6 chapters left in The Two Towers.
Yeah.
Oh my
It's
god.
crazy.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
Thank you guys for joining us on this.
I'm going to have to read Curious George in between to reset my reading level.
Wait, you can read? I thought you were listening to Andy
Technically, I
Serkis'
listen.
Oh my God.
And for everybody who's joined us on this wonderful journey,
Discovery.
like,
Everybody
subscribe.
be proud of me.
Truly and honestly, this is an amazing thing. And Chris does a shitload of work to make this happen. So if you are also enjoying this as much as we are, like, subscribe, and share with anybody that you think would get a kick out of Tolkien. Old listeners, new listeners. These two, you guys are a perfect example of people who I never would have thought would get into reading The Lord of the Rings, but you gave it a shot, and it's fucking great.
In front of a live audience.
Yes. Cats.
You never thought we would get into Lord of the Rings.
Mm-mm.
I mean, and we haven't. But I'm just kidding. This has been such a fun ride, and I think us fools, I'm so proud of us fools. We're keeping up. I find myself correcting people on lore. I'm like, no. That's not from that chapter, or you said that wrong, which is wild.
Yeah,
and then I
right?
lay in bed staring at the ceiling like the Queen's Gambit, and it's all happening around me. But this has been so fun. Anyway, also, random request. If you are listening to this and you enjoyed it, give us a 5-star review. We really feel like
Yes,
we
please.
work our butts off for this podcast. So if you're having a good time, 5-star review, easy, whatever you're listening on, just press it. It really helps us out, like legitimately. Nowadays, the podcast apps, they just look at whoever's getting reviews, and that's the only way that new people find them. Like, they won't show our podcast to people who don't know that we exist unless we have a review. So if you like this, oh, it's so easy to just hit the 5 stars. And I think that we earn 5 stars. We work our butt off for this. If you think it's a 2 or 3 or 4 stars, I'm also okay with that. But just text me first before you do that, because then we can talk about it. And I can like Venmo you or whatever it takes to get that 5-star review out of you. So thanks so much. Tune in next week for, once again, the window in the west.
On the west.
The window in the west.
That's it.
The wind in the west.
The window in the west. The window in the west.
On.
The wind.
The wind.
The window on the west. It's going to be great. I am Christopher.
I'm Laura.
I'm Robbie Jean.
I'm Pat.
And we are Full of a Took. We'll see you next week.
Bye.